my doctor looked at me and said, don't ever get in a fire engine again. You won't be able to do it. Your lungs can't handle the smoke. Your lungs can't handle the heat. You'll never fight fire ever again in your entire life. You have reactive airway disease. This happened in 2017. I was remodeling a fire station, and I had taken out all the kitchen cabinets, and the picture that's in the thumbnail was behind the last cabinet where the dishwasher was, and I had found that black mold. And I was in the kitchen for less than 5 minutes after that, because I got everything out, and I told my captains about it, and we said, oh, well, let's spray it with bleach, Visqueen it. We had that plastic wrap that's called Visqueen, and we put Visqueen over it. And we thought, oh, that will take care of it, and we'll get some mold remediation companies out to fix it. And we thought, oh, that's going to be good, and they'll get out and we'll get it taken care of. Well, that night we got an out-of-county assignment for a strike team to go down to San Luis Obispo to cover fire engines that were at a fire farther south towards Los Angeles. So we were covering fire stations, the fire station, and we had the next morning gotten up. I was fine by then. Or right then, I didn't feel anything. So we had gotten a couple calls, and we had gone out and did some training and hiking, and I could breathe fine still, and nothing was seriously wrong that I could tell. And all of a sudden, later that afternoon, I started coughing. And like, that's weird. I didn't have a fever. I didn't have a sore throat. I wasn't sick. I didn't have food poisoning, nothing like that. And so we went to Camp Roberts, which is a live ammunition military base where they shoot live rounds at great distances, like a couple hundred yards at a time. And we were taking a tour at Camp Roberts, and they said, hey, they're going to do live fire training later today. You guys want to stick around? Because usually there's a fire. And if there's a fire, we don't put the fire out. We just burn off a couple hundred acres so that it doesn't happen again. And we're like, yeah, of course. So we were taking a tour of the fire station, and sure enough, they got a call for a vegetation fire on the range. So we went with the fire department, and we got there, and it was like a little quarter acre. It wasn't very big at all. And we decided, they said, well, we're going to burn off a couple thousand acres. I'm like, yeah. So I had a couple drip torches on our engine, and we were the only engine from the strike team there, and they had a couple drip torches. So I talked to my captain, and I said, hey, can I do the first round? He goes, yeah, that's fine, but we also have a trainee that we need to get in there. I'm like, oh yeah, cool, he can go first. No, that's fine. And my captain said, no, why don't you do it first for a while? It sounds like we're going to do quite a few. So I did 2 full drip cans, and I know how to conserve the drip cans so that you can go a long way, and that's what I was doing. So I had 2 of them, and the second one, when I ran out, we had one more, so I was making a third. I refilled the 2 that we had, and I said, hey Cap, why don't you take the new guy, the probationary firefighter, and do some training, and I'll just follow in the fire engine. He was like, yeah, that's a good idea. I still have that picture on my phone of me recording it, and I'll get back to that in a few minutes. So he took back off and went off and started laying fire, and it was good fire. The brush was, or it wasn't brush, it was grass, and it wasn't too tall, but it was tall enough to get some pretty decent flame lengths off of it. And the guy was like, oh, this is fun, this is a lot of fun. And then they just decided and like that, they just decided to cut it off and put it out. Well, we burned about 2,500 acres. I was coughing the entire time, like miserable cough. I didn't have any cough drops, I didn't have any cough medicine, I didn't have anything. Nothing. Let me tell you, in your strike team bag, when you pack your strike team bag, make sure you put cough medicine in it now. Cough drops, always have those. Anyways, so we put the fire out, we go back to the fire station, and we get all cleaned up, we put the fire engine back together, and we're cooking dinner, And the next morning, we got a phone call that the next morning we were going home. Our entire strike team was going home. But we went on a couple more calls, a couple more fires, and I was just miserable. I was just miserable. They didn't pan out to be anything. We got canceled in the route to, like, there was 3 of them. We got canceled en route. Ended up driving all the way back to the fire station and back to our fire station. And on the way home, I'm sitting in the front seat of the fire engine, and I have a picture, and I have no idea why I took the picture, but there's a picture of me in the passenger seat of the fire engine, and I'm just took the picture. I just took the picture. It was my final trip in the fire engine back to the fire station. I got back, got my stuff off. I put my stuff in the fire engine, or in my truck, and they had relief for me. The engine was going out on another strike team. I said, no, I need to get off. I need to go to the doctor. And went to the doctor with my fiance at the time, and that's when he told me that I told him the entire situation, and he goes, I'm pretty confident that you have reactive airway disease and you'll never step foot in a fire engine ever again. Never will you step foot. You will never be able to chase fire. You will never be able to do anything fire related. You need to find a new career. The fire station never did anything about it. We were gone for 2 weeks on that strike team assignment. 2 weeks we were gone on that strike team assignment. When we came back, the kitchen was still the same. They had set up a kitchen outside in the backyard, and they were still inside, sleeping inside, and the air conditioner intake was in the kitchen. So all the mold was circulating throughout the station from the black mold. And so there's a confidential form you can fill out, because the captains didn't do anything about it. There's a confidential form you can fill out and send in, and they close the fire station and have it taken care of. I did that. Yep, I sure did. I'd never signed an NDA, and I've never told this part of the story, ever have I ever. So if you're here at 7 minutes in, you're hearing this for the first time. I signed an NDA, or I did not sign one. So I'm telling you that they did this. I'm not gonna say where the fire station was or what department it was, or anything like that, but they closed the fire station, and they tried to retaliate against me because there was black mold in the kitchen, and they were still living upstairs. They were still using the office that was next to the kitchen, and they were still using the dining room that was next to the kitchen, and they didn't really have it flagged off or visqueened off. They just visqueened the corner of what's on the thumbnail is all that they visqueened in this in there in the kitchen. That's it. That's it. I'm sitting in a doctor's office being told I'll never get in a fire engine ever again, and my firefighting career is gone. And they're looking at, well, we couldn't find a cheap one to fix it. It was 2 weeks. We were gone 2 weeks. Nothing had changed in the fire station, nothing. 2 weeks. I had it closed in less than 48 hours. I think I filled out the paperwork and sent it in on a Friday, and by Monday the station was closed. So technically 1 business day. Be careful with what you do. If you choose this career, know that you have to take care of yourself. You have to take care of your body. Luckily, I have heavy equipment to fall back on, and that's what I fell back on, and that's what I have now. My grandfather taught me how to run bulldozers at a very young age, and I have that now. But if you don't have something and there's nothing left, then I'm sorry. I hope that this is the Wildland firefighting is the career for you. Like I said, I'm going to make all kinds of videos for you guys and tell more stories like these, but this one needs to be heard so that you guys know you do have the authority to stand up for what's right and do what's right. Yeah, you'll probably get retaliated against, but guess what? I did it, and I saved lives in the meantime. So I want to thank you for being here. Hit that subscribe button if you haven't already, and if you've made it this far in the video, leave me a comment. Just let me know that you made it this far, and you have a great day. I freaking love you.